Hmm. So, good morning, and I'm starting this video for the third time um, prior to earlier interruptions and also the screen freezing. So, here we go again, even though this is the first time for you, but it's the third time for me. So, um, I had the thought before deciding to make this video that the question, what on earth can an empath do? And I was thinking about there's a matrix or a thought form of what an empath is. And an empath, everyone is an empath. Everyone has the ability to feel the energies around them. Some people have learned to pay attention and to get better at feeling the energetics. Other people have learned to shut themselves down more effectively so they don't feel the energetics. What's best for you is kind of your decision in terms of opening your awareness up or closing it down. But we're all empaths. We all feel energetics. We all, on some level, know when someone's telling us the truth or not telling us the truth. Um, yeah, so all of us have various levels of ability. The question is how do we best work with these times that we're in, and what are we thinking these times are? Because a lot of what we're, if you're of the perception that you make up your own reality, and then you look at your reality and you go, oh wow, my reality really sucks. Then not only do you perceive that your reality sucks, but you also feel personally responsible for your reality sucking. And so it's a double whammy, It's like, yeah, yeah, you make up your own reality and you don't like it. So what can we do? First of all, we don't have to believe that we make up our own reality. We could believe that somebody else is making up our reality, the government or the churches or whatever. Or we can say, well, I don't necessarily like this reality as it currently is, and I can do the best I can with it while I'm here in this body. If I'm actually here in this body, I'm making this video, but I, I, I believe I am. I'm experiencing being in a body, so it may very well be that I'm in a body. And it may very well be that there are people actually listening, watching and listening to this video. And now I've probably said enough about all of that. So let's just jump right into it. First of all, um, my perception of the world, both last night in the dream world and this morning, very early on, I was up at 6 o'clock, and just the energies just felt so intense. So as I was sitting in these really intense energies, wondering like, what can I do? And then I ended up having a conversation with someone just about the circumstances that they were dealing with. Now, the circumstances that others are dealing with oftentimes can make us feel better, like our circumstances feel not as intense as theirs. So we could maybe feel better because our circumstances aren't that bad, comparatively speaking, even though they may seem bad to us at the time we're having them. So, really, what this video is about is being in intense energetics, and what can we do when the energetics feel really intense. And so there's a number of things that we can do. And so I'm going to give you just a few little examples. We can say, well, what's the story I'm making up? And then just notice if you're making up a story, what that story is. Like, I feel really bad um, because the world, economics are crashing. That could be one story. So let's just do that one, because that one seems to be a story a lot of people are making up. So we'll just hold that one over in this left hand. So the world economics, whatever they are crashing, whatever that is, Um, and the perception that that's happening is probably leading to that happening if it is happening, you know. But even if it's not happening, we're all noticing that things are much more expensive to purchase, such as food and gasoline and things like that. So something's happening, and whether or not it's a collapse or, a temporary big pain or making it very difficult for many people in their circumstances, all of that stuff's probably going on. And so there are energies related to that. So I'm trying to get this hand in this and not make my hand look too big, make it a scary hand. But I'm just trying to get a hand over here so you can have the story in your left hand, and then in your right hand, you can have all the emotions of that story. You take them out, put them over here, and then you got this intense little hand of emotions over here. Then you're just going to move that hand as far as you can away from yourself, put your palm up, and let those emotions release from that. That is one technique, releasing the emotions from the story. I've done enough videos on that so you can watch that. Another thing is that there are various matrices surrounding the planet, so we can disconnect from those matrices. So we can state things out loud, such as, I disconnect from the matrix of war surrounding the planet. And then just state that out loud. And then notice how you feel once you've stated that you're disconnecting from the matrix of war surrounding the planet. Notice if it has an energetic effect. And with all these things, all these suggestions I make, these are things I've done so many times and with so many people, and the only things that I keep are the ones that I find are personally effective, and others have stated that they were effective for them. So all these things I suggest you do, I'm not making them up in the moment. There are things I've actually done myself and done with others many times. So there's a new one. What's new? And I think that, whatever is new is always the latest, is the greatest sometimes. And so the latest and greatest is connecting with our deep self. So we've already shifted the energy. We've disconnected from the matrix of war. We could have disconnected from the matrix of grief and fear and anger, which are all really stormy right now. Grief, fear, and anger. There's a lot of that stormy energy in the field. And so we can disconnect from the matrix of grief, anger, and fear. And then notice what happens then. And if we notice something happen, just notice that. That's what the purpose of this is. Observational healing is somewhat stepping out of these various disturbing emotional states and the stories surrounding them, and finding that place of deep self. So this is relatively new. I've worked with it with quite a number of people, but it's only been around 5 or 6 weeks, I would say. And I found it really useful myself. And it was what I was doing this morning. So I was feeling all this intensity of energy, and so you just may want to say to yourself, I connect with my deep self, and just go in there. And then just notice how everything slows down. And inside your deep self, you may become more aware of your breath. And also the flow of your cerebral spinal fluid up and down your spine. You may notice like the places where your body's tingling. and notice your own areas, where your body's tingling, where your attention is drawn, what seems to be going on for you. Just notice those things. One of the things I notice is how much tightness is in my throat and the upper part of my chest. The throat and the chest are oftentimes just related to grief and loss. So again, if that's what you're noticing, just you might state from the deep self, and you drop back in it again because you might have come out of it. From the deep self, I notice what feels like grief and loss. For you might be feeling anger. And so from the deep self, from the place of peace, I notice energies of anger. And if you start yawning, it's because yawning is a way that the body releases these energies, especially fight or flight. So from this deep place, this deep self, this deep place of peace, I release my fight, flight, or freeze. And then I feel that energy moving a little bit more up and down my spine. And regardless of whether we like or dislike the energies we're feeling, when we're feeling what I would call emotional vibrations, and we recognize maybe that this vibration is anger, irritation, frustration, whatever. It has a particular energetic. This energy of fear or loss, or the fear of loss, or the anger over loss, those are all different vibrations. Today is a day where my attention has been focused on grief and loss, the fear of loss. That's what I've been working with myself and with clients. A number of my clients are going through circumstances where they have a loved one that is maybe in hospice, maybe coming up to the point of passing into the other realm, whatever that realm is. But if, these are people that we feel close to, we feel have been very important in our lives, possibly, and their leaving can be somewhat distressing. Our life's going to change with their passing. So, again, noticing ourselves in our deep self, going into that deep self and feeling that peacefulness of the deep self. If you're not feeling that peacefulness, then just state that I allow myself a larger space for my deep self. And then that gets a little bigger, and then it's easier to go into your deep self and feel it getting a little bigger, and feeling the calm and peacefulness of the deep self begin moving up and down the spine. And that energy, that peaceful calm of the deep self, it's kind of like ocean waves. I've been watching a lot of ocean waves on my computer, just watching ocean waves on my computer, because there's a certain peacefulness of that rhythm of the ocean, and that sound. I've heard it said that the sound of ocean waves is what our mother's breath breathing sounds like when we're in the womb. So that's why it's oftentimes a very peaceful place to go, is to the ocean, where one can hear those sounds of the Mother Earth breathing while we're in the womb of change. So now there's some release taking place in the ears. And if that's true for you, just notice what it feels like when your ears are letting go of energy, when your jaw is letting go of energy, when the back of your head, your occiput, is letting go of energy, when your shoulders are beginning to relax and release energy, when your throat and your chest are beginning to relax and release energy. And all of this is about not thinking ourselves through things, but feeling ourselves let go of the things that we are struggling with, and let go of the struggle and find that interior peace, that peace that passes all understanding, that is available at all times by connecting with our deep self. So this is what our deep self lives in, but our deep self, like our higher self, are not forcing us into experiences. They're helping us to have experiences when we ask for them. So when we ask for this experience of the deep self, then we find ourselves having this experience of the deep self. And this can help us during difficult times. So that seems like enough for today. I hope you find this helpful. And I'll just continue to, when I'm working with big energies, actually just get on the internet and work with those big energies so that you can work with them too with me. And together we can get better at working with these energies. Not that we want to keep the energies, not that we want to keep it always being intense. What we would like to do is possibly keep it always feeling at peace, even when the energetics may feel intense. So that's maybe the thing to think about. I can be at peace while I'm aware of these intense energies, and that's one way how you can be an empath at this time on the planet. So now I must go. It's been good to be with you.